I've always been drawn to the blank spaces on the map, places people skip over. Kazakhstan was one of those for me, the 9th largest country, yet barely known to most. I set myself a challenge: explore Kazakhstan for a week with just £550, about $700. My journey began with a flight into Almaty, the former capital, nestled against the mighty Tian Shan mountains. From the air, the city looked modern, but I knew the real story was on the ground. I stepped out of the airport into crisp November air, determined to travel smart and connect deeply. Skipping airport taxis, I squeezed into a crowded marshrutka, wedged between locals, my first taste of real Kazakhstan. The challenge wasn't just about money, it was about peeling back the layers of a misunderstood country. People think of Soviet history or oil wealth, but what about the soul of the place? My budget pushed me away from tourist traps and toward authentic experiences. It meant humble guest houses, local food, and trusting strangers. This wasn't just a trip, it was an experiment in travel, a quest for the heart of Kazakhstan. The £550 felt like both a limit and a key. I carried more curiosity than clothes, ready for whatever the week would bring. The adventure had begun, not in a guidebook, but in the beautiful, everyday mess of life. Could I find true adventure without a hefty bank balance? I was about to find out. Almaty is a city of contrasts, gleaming skyscrapers beside Soviet-era blocks, tree-lined avenues buzzing with life. I spent my first days walking, getting lost on purpose. The Green Bazaar was a feast for the senses: spices, smoked fish, and pyramids of dried fruit. The best parts of Almaty weren't in any guidebook. In a hidden courtyard, old men played chess, offering me tea and smiles, connection without words. I discovered incredible Soviet mosaics on building walls, each a crumbling story in tile. Hunting for them became a treasure hunt, revealing the city's layered history. Almaty is also incredibly green. Panfilov Park, with its fairy tale Zenkov Cathedral, was a peaceful oasis. I watched families stroll and pigeons coo, soaking in the city's gentle rhythm. The city's soul wasn't just in its markets or history, but in these shared moments of peace. Every street held a surprise, every corner a new story. Almaty's magic was in its everyday life. I realized the city's true beauty was found by wandering, not planning. Sometimes the best discoveries are the ones you never expected. You can't know a country until you've tasted its food. And in Kazakhstan, food is a story. My budget led me to local canteens or stolovayas, serving huge portions of traditional dishes for just a few pounds. My first beshbarmak, meat and noodles eaten with your hands, was simple, hearty, and delicious. I tried kazy, a rich horse meat sausage, and kumis, the infamous fermented mare's milk. I didn't love kumis, but sharing it with locals was an experience, my grimace met with laughter and warmth. One evening, a family I met at the bazaar invited me to dinner. Their apartment was modest, but the table overflowed with salads, samsa pastries, and plov. We talked for hours, using a translation app and hand gestures. That meal cost me nothing, but it was the richest experience of my trip. In Kazakhstan, food is generosity, a way to welcome you into their world. I left their home full of gratitude, having tasted the true Kazakh spirit. Sharing a meal built a bridge between us. The best memories weren't bought, they were given freely. Food here is more than sustenance, it's connection. Every meal was a lesson in hospitality. I learned that friendship needs no common language. The warmth of Kazakh hospitality is something I'll never forget. Sometimes the simplest meal is the most meaningful. Leaving the city, I joined a small tour to Altyn-Emel National Park, my biggest expense, but worth every tenge. The landscape shifted from city to endless steppe, ancient and epic. Our goal: the singing dune, a massive sand dune that hums when the wind blows. The sound, a deep, vibrating note, felt like the earth itself was singing. Climbing the dune was tough, but the view from the top was pure magic, endless steppe on one side, purple mountains on the other. I sat on the crest, wind in my face, listening to the dunes' strange song. As the sun set, the landscape glowed gold, and the dunes' hum grew louder. It was a moment of perfect solitude and wonder. This was the Kazakhstan I dreamed of, raw, untamed beauty. Nature here performs its own symphony for those willing to listen. The silence was profound, broken only by the wind and the dunes' song. The memory of that sound will stay with me forever. Sometimes, the wildest places offer the deepest peace. The steppe's vastness made me feel small, but free. In that moment, I understood the soul of Kazakhstan. Next stop, Charyn Canyon, often called the Grand Canyon's wilder cousin. We arrived early, the only people there, surrounded by silence and staggering scale. Descending into the Valley of Castles, the red sandstone formed towers and fortresses sculpted by wind and water. Every turn revealed new, fantastical shapes, nature's own sculpture park. The colors shifted from deep reds to pale pinks, the creativity of nature on full display. At the river's edge, turquoise water cut through the red rocks. We ate a simple lunch by the rushing water, a moment of pure peace. Dipping my hands in the icy river, I felt the force that carved this land. Hiking out, the afternoon sun made the canyon glow. Charyn isn't famous, but its wild spirit is unforgettable. It's a place that reminds you of nature's power and beauty. Here, you feel small in the best way. The canyon was another treasure in this land of wonders. Sometimes, the lesser-known places leave the deepest mark. Kazakhstan's wild heart beats strongest in its open spaces. Back in Almaty, the city's layers of history became clear. Soviet-era buildings stand beside futuristic malls, a city in transition. I explored by metro, each station a marble and mosaic masterpiece. The trains were clean and efficient, a symbol of modern Kazakhstan. Yet, the art on the walls told stories of the past. At the Central State Museum, I traced Kazakhstan's journey from nomads to independence. That evening, I rode the cable car up Koktob Hill for a view of the city lights, past and future side by side. Almaty felt alive with energy and optimism. The city is building a new dream on the foundations of its history. Here, the past isn't forgotten, it's part of the future. More than landscapes or food, it was the people who defined my journey. Kindness was everywhere, on buses, in markets, on the street. Strangers offered help, rides, and even gifts, refusing payment. This generosity is woven into Kazakh culture. At a roadside cafe, the owner brought me tea and biscuits, waving away my money with a smile. These small gestures meant the world. My budget got me places, but human connection made the trip priceless. I never felt lonely, only welcomed. The real treasures of travel are the friendships and kindness you find. Kazakhstan taught me that hospitality is its own kind of wealth. The memories of these encounters will last a lifetime. Did I stick to my £550 budget? Yes, with room to spare. Kazakhstan is incredibly affordable if you live like a local. Guest houses and hostels rarely cost more than £15 a night. Eating at canteens and markets, I spent less than £10 a day on delicious meals. Getting around was cheap: Yandex Go rides, marshrutkas, and shared taxis. My one big splurge was the National Parks tour, but it was worth every penny. In total, my week cost just under £500, including everything. A limited budget didn't limit my experiences, it enhanced them. I was more resourceful, more open, and more engaged. The memories I made are worth far more than money. Sometimes, the best adventures come from traveling light. My week in Kazakhstan was a whirlwind of surprises. I found a country bursting with life, color, and breathtaking beauty. Ancient traditions and modern ambitions live side by side. This journey was more than a budget holiday. It was a reminder of what travel is about. It's about stepping out of your comfort zone and connecting with people. My budget wasn't a restriction, it was a passport to authenticity. If you crave adventure off the beaten path, consider Kazakhstan. Don't be put off by its size or obscurity. It's safe, welcoming, and rewarding. The world is full of blank spaces waiting to be discovered. All you need is curiosity and a willingness to explore. The blank spaces on the map are calling. Go fill them in.